Hey guys, RWBY Blindwave. I'm Eric.
I'm Calvin.
I'm Aaron.
What are we doing?
Video World Remnant. About a kingdom.
Atlas.
Aura.
RWBY.
You were early.
I suppose it's time we talked about the fine people at the top of the world.
Looks cold
Atlas
there.
is Remnant's youngest and arguably most successful kingdom. But it's a bit of a special case. See, before the Great War, there was no Atlas. There was Mantle.
Mantle?
At some point in time, a group of settlers were crazy enough to venture out into the northernmost continent of Solitas. I guess when you're that desperate, a frozen hunk of rock doesn't seem like such a bad place to call home. As a matter of fact, the harsh weather conditions proved to be just as useful as the mountain ranges when it came to keeping the creatures of Remnant at bay.
Shit.
But it also kept the people of Mantle from flourishing. Humanity's got a neat trick up its sleeve, though.
Oh.
Whenever we're faced with a problem, our inclination is to find a solution. The cold climate of Solitas forced its settlers to adapt. They developed a more advanced technology, and they did it faster than the rest of the world. Because they had to survive. But it was the Great War that really kicked things off. New forms of dust application and weaponry allowed Mantle to expand. More and more territory was set aside for dust mining and research. The territory beside the kingdom's combat school, Alcius, was the most opportune area to construct a new R&D facility. But by the time things were all said and done, it would be much, much more. Alcius was reopened as Atlas after the Great War to house many of the warriors now seeking guidance. In an effort to give back to the citizens, Mantle applied all sorts of new dust techniques and technologies it had used in the war to beef up the Academy's campus. The school grounds expanded faster than they could have imagined, and even helped to better secure the surrounding areas. It wasn't long before the kingdom's military moved in, then the labs and research facilities, and eventually even residential areas started popping up. In
What's to
time,
do with the
it
mustache?
became apparent that the city of Mantle was living in Atlas' shadow. And so the decision was made to move the kingdom's capital. Mantle was old news.
Wow.
And the kingdom of Atlas was born. A golden age of prosperity, they called it. But those left behind in Mantle would probably tell you that it was the coldest winter they ever knew.
Okay. Cold. Chill.
Interesting. The place down that they dug into the ground, all those little things reminded me of the ending of the last episode we watched, where that chick was. Because there was all those crystals and stuff sticking out everywhere, remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So she was just surrounded by dust then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Dust crystal.
I suppose so. I thought that it was going to imply that all their cities were like buried in the ground to get away from the cold. I was just wrong.
They just dug to get their stuff to make stuff.
That'd be kind of cool. Like dig down like into the earth, like get to the heat.
Like a dwarf.
Yeah. Except that heat is a Balrog. You don't want to fuck with that.
I wouldn't either. So they
Unless you're another Balrog, in which case you probably should fuck to create more Balrogs.
No, don't make any Balrogs. So this place is basically where they got all their technology and everything was from them.
Yeah.
Pretty much. After the Great War.
They were able to advance much faster because they don't have to worry about Grimm as much as the others. Right? What they're implying?
Yeah.
Because of the conditions.
Yeah, because the conditions, it was so cold they couldn't.
Yeah.
But they had the technology to keep everyone warm and keep progressing and stuff. And then they made all these weapons and dust, and then they gave back and had crazy ships. The other place had crazy ships, but they couldn't do things they ships.
Yeah, but they were like Peter Pan flying ships, whereas this is like Star Destroyers. Now I'm just thinking about Balrogs fucking.
Why?
You know Gandalf and Balrog are like equivalent in terms of
Power?
rank?
What?
Yeah. Like the Balrogs and Maiar and Gandalf's and Maiar, they're like angels.
You mean before Gandalf died? Or turned into white
No, like
or whatever?
what Gandalf originally was.
The gray guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah, he like used to be a Maiar, which is like an angel thing, right? And then the Balrogs used to be a Maiar too, but they were like taken by this bad guy. He's like, I'm gonna make him evil, and then they're like, I'm gonna make this guy an old man. But they're like the same thing, isn't that crazy? You think he fucked that Balrog?
Damn it! All right, thank you guys for watching. This was World of Remnant Atlas, and there's more coming.
One more. Last one.
And then we're done.
Stop!
Eric needs coffee.
Blah, 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 blah.
Those aren't cough drops.